kept on trying to manifest things. And in my vision board, I have a lot of studios. I have a lot of recording studios, like tons. And I'm like, why do I have so many recording studios? So the reason why I have so many recording studios is how I landed the job at iHeartRadio. Like, I think I just kept on trying to manifest another radio gig. And I was like, I work for an amazing radio. And some people would say to me, you know, there's a big radio coming to Boston that's in Spanish. We've never had a big radio station here. iHeart has never owned a Spanish, you know, radio station with hosts and everything.
Yeah.
So somebody had said to me, like, there's going to be a big radio station coming to Boston, owned by a big company. iHeartRadio is the biggest radio company in the U.S. You know, they own like 850 stations. The same guy, he's another angel of mine, the same guy that had gotten me the job, the second radio job, the one that had asked me to come into the morning show, is the same guy that calls me 3 years ago in the summer and says, there's a new radio station owned by a big company, you should go and apply. I did. This is how I know it's God, and God gave it to me. I know a lot of people, including DJ Big O, but I didn't even know that Gem 94.5 was an iHeart station. You know, you don't really pay attention to those little details probably until you work there. And so I knew DJ Big O, I knew DJ Rico Suave, like I knew quite a few personalities that were there, but I didn't know until I got to the studios that I was like, oh wait, I know you, I know you, I know you, I know you. But I never reached out to anybody and said, hey, like, can you please put in a good word for me? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never, ever, like, God knows I never did it. Doesn't make me good or bad whether I had done it or not, but I never did it. And I just submitted my resume, and I put everything that I already had learned over the years to do. And I submitted voice tracks and voice memos. And the guy that hired me, he just called me out of nowhere. He's like, hey, you're like in the top 50. You know, like, this is something that interests you or whatever. And then it was such a long process. It was like an 8-month process. Then like months later, he calls me again, and he's like, hey, you're in the top 5. But I knew from the first day that I spoke to him, I don't know, it was like a gut thing. I already knew the job was mine. Even when he said he was in the top 50. Like, my gut was like, it's mine.
Yeah.
Like, I already know it's mine.
Yeah. If you're already considering me, it's a done deal.
It's like, I already know it's my job.
Mm-hmm.
So then, like, obviously, because of manifesting, and I already knew that was my job, I already knew the station I was listening for, so I would just manifest me speaking already in that station. You know, like, I would pretend that I would be the one. Song would come on, and I would be like, it's your girl Anabel, and da-da-da-da, whatever. And then eventually when he came and finally said, you got the job, I was like, I manifested it. I didn't tell him
awesome.
that, but I was like, okay, I knew it. And then I did the same thing with Gemin, and then I ended up being on air in Gemin. But it was really cool, and I think that's when I knew that, like, God, I was like, it's God. Mm-hmm. Like, there's people that have been there over the last 3 years that have tried to take me off my job position. And instead, God has removed those people when other people ahead of them would say, we're not firing them. Like, even if they did this to you, like, we're not firing them. And then God and universe somehow are like, I got this.
Yeah.
They're gone. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, and I've counted down a few, and I'm like, I don't have to do anything. Like, this is a job that God gave me. You can't take it away from me. And if he does, then I know for a fact it'll be because he's got something better for me.